Call our meeting to order. We will have our invocation offered by Mr. Glenn Lotzenheiser, followed by the pledge offered by Ms. Jasmine Sutta of Columbus High School.
Okay, please bow your heads. Father, we just thank you for all the blessings that you pour out upon us on a daily basis. And we ask, Father, for your continued blessings upon us and our families in this school district. And we just pray for all of the people at CMSD, Father, as they break for the Christmas holidays, that you would watch over them and keep them safe and free from harm and give them travel mercy. And Father, I just pray that we will all come back after the first of the year renewed and refreshed. And I just ask your blessings upon the second half of our year. And Father, we thank you for our nation. We thank you, as I said, for those who have gone before, who have made the sacrifice and taken principled stands. And Father, I especially lift up to you the men and women in our military who will not be able to come home for the Christmas holidays. And I just pray that you would encourage them and their families. And Father, we just ask that you would bless this meeting tonight. And what we do tonight will be for the good of our boys and girls, and grant us wisdom and discernment, for we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Jasmine, thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you all for being here tonight. We do have a quorum. There's no one signed up for open forum at this time. Board members, we have the agenda before us. I need a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. That has been properly motioned. Do I have a second?
Second.
That has been properly motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It is unanimous. Now we move to item number 6, appear before the board, Mr. Scott Murrah. Mr. Murrah, welcome. Yes, sir, please. And I believe you were told you have 3 to 5 minutes in your presentation.
Right.
Thank you.
Is this on?
Mr. Brown, would you?
Oh,
I think it is. I think it is. First, I'd like to express my appreciation for the opportunity to appear before the board and to say a huge thank you to all of these administrators, these educators. The most difficult job in the world is education today, and it gets tougher and tougher. And a thank you to you as a board who support them in their efforts. I'm here today simply because of the reason that I've just expressed, to say thank you, but also to express some concerns that I have personally, and that is that I want us to look better and do better. And I'm going to go about this by simply starting back years ago. I was a junior high coach and teacher. I was a high school coach and teacher. I was an assistant principal. I was a principal, and I always had been taught as a young child, all the way up through my athletics and all of my coaching, about teamwork and cooperation to accomplish the goal of what's best for the team. It wasn't always, everybody wasn't always right, and everybody wasn't always together on everything that we did. But my goodness, in those 34 years that I spent, we went through all kinds of things in our school district. And I always felt that I was a part of the team that was working together. Integration, on and on. Consolidation, starting a new high school at Caldwell High School way back in the early 70s. On and on. State accreditation, state testing for our students. And it was always, I got the feeling, a team cooperative effort to accomplish the goal that we set out to do. Excuse me. I look over at Angela, and she's clink scales to me, that cheerleader bouncing around on that stage there in our pep rallies. But the team effort was what got us to where we were. Through all of those things, and I could name many, many more. As a principal, I was the principal, but I was part of the team. Our superintendents that I worked for, our school boards that I worked for. And I'm going to change that word from for to with, because I always felt like it was a team effort. I wasn't working for them. They were working with me and me with them as a team to accomplish our goals for the Columbus School District. In all of those years, no matter what position I was ever in, I was never ashamed 1 second to tell anybody where I worked, because when we would go to state meetings and so forth, they knew where we worked. They knew about the Columbus School District and the things that we were doing and the things that we had accomplished. So I only say those things to you, not to say that I have the answers, no. I mean, it's an effort, it's a team effort, it's cooperation, it's togetherness. I think one of the hardest things as a headstrong person that I had to learn toward that was agreeing to disagree. A very difficult group dynamic in that this consolidation we went through and all of the huge building process that we went through. Dr. Reuben Dilworth, Johnny Johnson, the school board, and I could go on and name names, were just like this in the effort. And we got it done. We got it done. And it wasn't easy, but we did, because we did it from the team cooperative standpoint. And I would simply encourage Columbus School District, and I know you're working hard at those things, to do that. Let's get on with business of being the Columbus School District. Public perception is something that's very difficult to change. I used to tell students that would come to my office when I was an assistant principal and dealt with discipline all day long, basically, that teacher doesn't like me. She's got it out for me. The reason was, once that red light and that red flag went up, it was extremely difficult to change that teacher's mind about Johnny. So my point is simply, public perception in some cases hasn't been too good. And I'm out there. I've been retired now. This is the 17th school year. You notice I said school year. That's the way I still count them, because I did it that way for so long. So I run into people in the grocery store and Walmart and here and there and church and all, and I hear them talking. I just hold it up and I say, stop, stop. You don't understand the big picture. You don't understand everything. Well, I know what I read and I know what I hear. I know what you read and I know what you hear too, because I hear it too. But I know better about what this school district can be and can do and has been. And I encourage everyone to pitch in and be a team. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time tonight, Mr. Murrah. All right, board members, we will move on to item number 7, which is the Office of the Interim Superintendent, Ms. Edna McGill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to provide you with an update on our policy review and revision process. And let me remind you of our team members, Mrs. Verdale, Mrs. Fisher, Mr. Brown, Mr. Shannon, Mrs. Lenore, Janet Adams, Jan Ballard, and myself. And that process is going so very well, and I want to commend these members once again for their hard work in the meeting and throughout the month in reading and reviewing the policies. We did meet on December the 5th to review Section A, the school district organization policies, and we were able to present several of those policies for approval tonight. We have a couple of sections that are under review by our board attorney at this time. Mrs. Lenore is the point of contact person with Kay Clay, who is the Mississippi School Board Association representative for us and who is helping us with this project. They are currently working on Section J, which are student policies, and we will have some of those policies ready to present for consideration in January. We have also placed all of the policies that are under consideration on our website, and there is a link, an email link if anyone has any comments they'd like to make. We do have that available and would encourage you to do so. But it's going very well, and I just commend the members of our team for their hard work in that process.
We thank you all for also taking on that very large task of sorting through the policies and refining them to meet today's standards. Moving along to item number 7B, which is consideration to approve CMSD strategic plan. Board members, I need a motion and a second to approve the strategic plan.
So moved.
It's been properly motioned. I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Fisher.
I have several questions regarding some things that I just saw this evening. Excuse me. Relative to percentages for improvements, baseline numbers, and just some details that I thought were missing. So I would like, and I would like to acknowledge that Mrs. McGill did afford me the opportunity to speak with her today, and I did not have that opportunity. But I do have some questions that I think it would be beneficial if we did this later.
Certainly.
I was just going to add, Ms. McGill, I do have some issues too, but I know that we've been kind of busy over this last week and a half that I didn't get to really ask you about. But there are some things in here that I question too.
And just let me remind you also that this is a process that you all worked on last year, and these are the same goals and objectives that you worked on, with the addition of a few objectives that have come about as the result of some MDE changes and requirements. So this process went on all of last year, and the goals were provided to you in September in our testing training meeting, and then the draft was provided to you in, I think it was last month. And so we've arrived at what we'd hoped would be the final version. But it is a fluid document, and we want it to be the very best that it can be. So please provide me with your input, and we will certainly take that back to the table.
Okay, board members. We have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? Please let the record show Mr. Leisenheiser, Mr. Spears, and Ms. Turner in favor of approval. Ms. Fisher and excuse me, Ms. Friedel are in opposition. Moving along to item number 7C, consideration to approve the CMSD organizational chart. Board members, I need a motion and a second to approve the organizational chart.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
The item's been properly motioned and seconded. Any discussion? There's no discussion. All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? Any opposed? Or
I didn't raise my right hand to approve.
okay. All right. Ms. Friedel? I'm sorry. Did you approve? Okay. Thank you. So it is unanimous. Moving on to item number 8. Excuse me. to approve the minutes. We have consideration to approve the November 18th regular school board minutes and consideration to approve the November 21st special school board minutes. Putting them all together, I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes for both meetings.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
The item's been properly motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It is unanimous. Now we move on to item number 9, which is the consent agenda, which is consideration to approve administrative professional development travel, consideration to approve the $500 donation from Aaron's Rental to Cook Fine Arts Magnet School, and consideration to accept MDE K3 Universal Screener Grant. I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
The
The item's been properly motioned and seconded. Any discussion?
I do. I have a request, Mrs. McGill, for professional development, not travel, but for professional development. Is it possible when we get the items on the consent agenda that we understand kind of where we are in terms of our budget percent? Like, where are we in terms of the percent that we've expended for professional development?
And I believe we do have a report in the budget packet that shows the percentage, because funding comes from different areas. So there's some from Title I and some from district maintenance. But yes, we can, you saying you would like that to be part of this chart as well?
Well, just so when we get to the consent agenda, if we're not going to discuss it, we kind of understand where we are in terms of our budget cycle and the amount that we have left for professional development. Yeah, because we're halfway through the year right now, and I really don't know how much we've spent in terms of professional development.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Verdell. Any additional questions or discussion? All in favor of approving the consent agenda items, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It is unanimous. Moving on to item number 10, Office of Personnel, Ms. Donna Mann. We have consideration to approve the staff personnel items, which is 10A. Board members, I need a motion and a second to approve the staff personnel items.
So moved.
Do I have a second? I'll second that. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, all in favor of approving the personnel items, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It is unanimous. Moving on to item B, 10B, which is the intent form to recommendation schedule for the 2014-2015, which is actually an information item to this agenda. Now moving on to item number 11, which is the Office of Deputy Superintendent, Mr. Craig Shannon. We have consideration to approve CMSD facility use request. We have that before us. Mr. Shannon, do you have any comments about the request? All right. So I need a motion and a second to approve the facility use request.
So moved.
Item's been properly motioned. Do I have a second? Item's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It is unanimous. Now moving to item number 12, which is the Office of Testing and Special Services, Ms. Nancy Bragg. We have one item, the consideration to approve professional development plan. Ms. Bragg.
Again, we have a, good evening.
Good evening.
Again, we have a yearly project, sort of like the testing security plan. And the professional development plan is developed in accordance to the Learning Forward standards for professional learning. And that is per the Mississippi Public School Accountability Standard 21. And so tonight, we're asking you to consider to approve our professional development plan And it is a static plan. It is ongoing throughout the year. We have 2 pretty thorough notebooks at this time that are full of professional development in areas that we, with our professional learning communities, that we have carried forth. And you have an extensive calendar that had a lot of dates on it. So at this time, if you would, just please approve the professional development plan.
All right, board members, to approve the professional development plan, I need a motion and a second,
So move.
and I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor of approval, please raise your, oh, I'm sorry, Ms.
I'm
Riddell.
sorry, I have a question. I don't know if it should be to Mrs. Bragg or Mrs. McGill.
Go ahead, Ms. Burdell.
Right, right. For item number 7, on the cover sheet for the professional development plan, the outcomes, it reads, aligns its outcomes with educator performance and student curriculum standards. What do we use to measure educator performance? What do we use for that?
I'm not sure I understand what you're asking.
For outcomes, it says that this professional development plan is going to be aligned with educator performance and student curriculum standards.
Oh, okay. The principals for the administrators, they're going through the MSTAR. And the Mississippi Professional Educators System, that they are continuously going throughout the school year. Ms. McGill, I don't know if you want to follow up on that.
Sure. Our professional development plan is aligned with MSTAR and with the requirements of Mississippi Department of Education. So in addition to providing professional development on the requirements, which would be mainly right now Common Core, as we go through the MSTAR and we determine areas where our faculty may be week, we will provide professional development in the coming year based on the performance and then based on test scores from this summer. So as we plan going forward, we will provide professional development in areas of greatest need.
And we're looking at all 7 of these standards as a practice to improve the educators, everything that's going on in the classroom, and increasing student results as the bottom line for this plan.
In addition, we also use a needs assessment that we'll be making available to our teachers probably in late February, early March, so that they can tell us what they think they need based on what they've done this year. And we will also have them do an evaluation of the professional development program that we have had in place this year. And Mr. Brown also in federal programs does a needs assessment as well. So it's based on the performance, not only of test scores, but of teacher results from the MSTAR and MPES for principals.
And like I said, it's ongoing, so yearly teachers will have their input through these surveys and these needs assessments, and we'll look at what we need to do for the upcoming school year based on professional development and professional learning communities.
Okay. At any time, do we use that information to evaluate our teachers? I mean, for the annual performance evaluations, do we use any of that data?
That is going, that goes on all the time. That's just an ongoing process that administrators use for their teachers. They're going through all of this process with the new teacher administrative instrument that they're doing, the teacher evaluation instrument that they're doing. So, yes, that's ongoing all the time. And they've been having pre-conferences and conferences and observations and evaluations, and they finished up their first go-round this month to get first semester in with all of that. A lot of documentation is going into all of those evaluations and observations and conferences with teachers.
Okay.
And when we say outcomes, we also, if we have provided professional development in the area of Common Core, language arts, we look at the principals do their observations, and when they're doing their observations, they are looking to see if they are observing some of the strategies that have been trained, and if they are being embedded within the instructional process. So it is ongoing.
And this would also help the district decide what's being effective and ineffective, and of course, be able to modify, delete, or bring in a completely new program for the upcoming year in the training for those particular areas that we might be trying to strengthen or reinforce throughout the system.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
That's what it's all about, being better and better.
Right.
And getting the best professional development
Right.
to support our
Possibly
teachers
can.
possible.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Board members, do we have any other questions or discussion? All in favor of approving the professional development plan, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It is unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bragg. Moving on to the Office of Business Management, Ms. Tammy McGar. We have several items before us, information only, the monthly financial statement reports, the fund balance report, cash balance report, budget status report. Also, item B is the monthly combined and combining report, the monthly revenue budget report. D is the monthly expenditure budget report, monthly ad valorem tax collection analysis report, which are all information items. Board members, do you have any questions on any of those items for Ms. McGar?
On the revenue budget report, good evening, how are you? The totals at the very bottom of that report for each of the funds, it tallies up the percent across each of the individual items. And so it's a misrepresentation of what the actual percent remaining in the fund is. How do we clean that up?
I would need to talk to the software provider and see if they can give us a report that wants the information that you are asking for.
Okay.
So would you like a percentage that is left?
Right.
The balance percentage that is left to be spent?
Well, the percent that has been spent is okay. It's just that at the very bottom, the total, like I'm on page 123, and the total is 695.59%. And normally, you're looking
Okay,
at it
which page are you on?
under revenue budget review, page 123 is my packet.
123?
123 is in my packet. But
Or is that the
you can look
Okay.
at any of them, it doesn't matter. But if you look where the dashed lines are for the totals, you have the percent balance on the far right-hand side, and at the very bottom, underneath the dashed line, do you see that total? Yeah.
Yes, I see what you're talking
Yeah.
about now. Okay.
Okay, if there's a way to fix that, because we can have a really true idea of what the percent remaining is
Okay,
in each of those funds.
I will investigate that.
Thank
and see
you.
if we can get it.
Thank you very much, Ms. Friedel. Board members, are there any other questions about the reports noted? I need a motion and a second to pay the bills. And I'll second that. Any discussion?
I would like to recuse myself at this time.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Turner. Mr. Lotzenhauser made the motion. I seconded it. The item's been properly motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor of paying the bills, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It is unanimous. Now we move to the monthly safety report. It's information report. Ms. McGar, do you have any comment about the safety report? Board members, do we have any questions for Ms. McGar regarding the safety report? Thank you very much, Ms. McGar.
Thank you.
Now we move on to item number 14, which is the Board of Trustees. Board members, tonight, with the effort of our Policy Committee and other team members, we have consideration to remove from the table the following Section A policies.
Mr. President, excuse me, I'd like to have remain on the table AEAA for vacations. I need to look for some more information on that policy, please.
Okay. And is that the only one?
It is.
Okay. All right. Board members, I need a motion. I'll make the motion that we remove off the table policies ABCE, AE, AEA, AEAB, AF, and AFA. Do I have a second? The item's been properly motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor of removing the noted policies off the table, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It is unanimous. Now moving down below, we have consideration to adopt the following recommended policies, and we will remove out the AEA. Let's see, where is it? Number 4. We will leave on the table number 4 under Section B, which is the policy AEAA, vacations. But I need a motion and a second to adopt the policies ABCE, AE, AEA, AEA, I'm sorry, that one skipped, AEAB, AF, and AFA. Do I have a second?
Second.
The item's been properly motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify of approving these policies. Please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It is unanimous. And we did leave on the table AEAA, just to be clear. Okay. Next item on the agenda is item 14C, which is consideration to approve the Cambridge resolution. Board members, I need a motion and a second to approve the resolution. Do I have a second?
Second.
The item's been properly motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the resolution, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It is unanimous. Now we move to item number 14D, consideration to approve the Walmart donation resolution. I need a motion and a second to approve the resolution. I'll make the motion. Do I have a second? Second. The item's been properly motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the resolution, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It is unanimous. Now we move to item 14E, consideration to approve Title VI low-income school application for 2013-2014. Board members, I need a motion and a second to approve the application for 2013-2014.
So moved.
The item's been properly motioned. Do I have a second?
Second.
The item's been properly motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the Title VI low-income school application for 2013-14, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It is unanimous. Now we move to item number 15, which are dates to remember. December the 20th, 2013, the students will go have a 60% day. December the 20th, 2013, we will have our Joe Horn Christmas Basketball Classic. It will be held at the Columbus High School beginning at 1:20 p.m. And also on December the 21st, the Classic will conclude, which will actually start at 12 o'clock at the high school gymnasium. On December the 23rd through January the 3rd, 2014, the school district will observe the Christmas holiday for all CMSD students and employees. On November the 6th, 2004, I'm sorry, no, where'd November come from?
Let's talk about that. Don't go back.
Wait, my copy's wrong here.
Don't go back.
Yeah, okay. Why'd you do that to me? On January the 6th, 2014, the teachers returned to school. On January the 7th, 2014, the students returned to school. January the 9th, 2014, school board visit to Cook Elementary Fine Arts School beginning at 11:30 a.m. On January the 20th, 2014, the student and staff holiday will be observing, school will be out observing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s Day. On January the 21st, 2014, we will have our regularly scheduled regular school board meeting that we moved to that Tuesday in honor of the holiday that falls on that Monday. And that will be at 6 p.m. Here at Brandon Central, about to say Central Station. Yeah. Yes. Oh, man. You'll have to excuse me for that. All right, January the 28th, 2014, and I know that says 13 at the bottom there. My eyes are not deceiving me there.
You're correct, it does.
Somebody's trying to get me on this. We'll change that. It's January the 28th, 2014. We'll have our next installment of the Parent Academy here at Brandon from 5:30 p.m. until 6:30 p.m. Now, board members, I need a motion to go into closed determination for executive session. Items been motioned. All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It is unanimous. We'll be out shortly to let you know what we'll be discussing.